Hello everyone. Welcome to podcast series of IBS Dehradun. Today we have our Dean, Mr. Rishi Dwesar here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start with the podcast. The first question for you, sir. Can you share a little bit about your journey of becoming the Dean of IBS Dehradun?
All right. So my academic journey started way back in the year 2010 when I started teaching to the second year of MBA students as a research scholar. And I did my PhD in 2014. And then I was promoted to become assistant professor. And I worked for around 2.5 years. Then I went to corporate and worked in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia as a research consultant. After that, again, because I enjoyed academic freedom and other things, so I came back to IBS Hyderabad and was again recruited there as associate professor. So it's been around 10 years that I've been working there as a faculty member. And then because there was a need of the dean in this particular B school, that is IBS Dehradun, I've joined here as the dean of this particular B school.
Okay, so sir, how do you think the landscape of business education has changed in the recent years?
All right. So if I look back to when I was in an MBA college and when we compare it with today, I think there has been a lot of changes majorly because of the technology, and things are moving at a very, very fast pace today. Even the generations have changed. So we used to call it as Generation X, then Z, and now the upcoming generation, which is Generation Alpha. So based on the needs of the generation and even the corporates, the education sector, specifically the business education, has totally changed. Today we are looking forward to a lot of new, smarter ways of doing things. People should be able to take help from technology. They should be able to learn very fast. So these are some of the changes which have been there overall in the business landscape. And definitely in a B school environment, we are ensuring that the students are able to adapt to these changes.
Okay, so what initiatives or programs at IBS are you particularly proud of?
So IBS has a long legacy, and the first B school was established way back in 1995. And over the years, there have been a lot of different kind of innovations and different things which IBS has done. So all of us know that first thing that IBS is very proud of is the Case Research Center, which is based out of Hyderabad, and now today it is the world's second largest case research center, just behind Harvard. And most of the people who are working in that case center are global rank authors on case studies. So definitely we all are proud, because in IBS, everyone is very well versed with the case teaching pedagogy. The second thing is definitely the infrastructure that we have. So there are a lot of different kind of labs which are there as a part of ICFI group, I would call. So students are given access to various softwares and tools. Some of these may be very expensive as well. So for example, we have got Bloomberg lab as well for finance specifically. So these are some of the initiatives that we are very, very proud of. Another initiative that IBS has been doing from maybe 2 decades itself is the club activities. So IBS has been strongly insisting that there are various clubs, and only academic teaching is not important, but a lot of things happen after the class as well. So I think this is another initiative where students are given full freedom to do events which they think that would add value to them. The IBS system supports that. So I think I'm very proud of that as well.
Okay, so now getting into a little personal question. Can you share any memorable experiences or success stories from your time at IBS?
So I'll just give you a very interesting incident. And there was an inter-college event. It goes back to 2008. Okay, and I went to this event as an inter-college event in IBS Gurgaon. So I represented my college there, and I was not at all one of the smartest person across that team, and it was an inter-college event, so there were teams from across a lot of other things, and there was a competition called as the best manager, and I still remember. So the trophy is also there, which is numero number one. Okay, and there were multiple stages. I think 8 rounds. Somewhere definitely I was kind of competitive, but it was luck as well. So there were initial rounds which were team rounds where entire team had to work to go to the next stage. And I would say that I was never, even in my dreams, I would have imagined that I will get a best manager kind of an award where there are a lot of very, very smart, competitive batchmates across different B schools. But I got a award, and it is still there on my Facebook profile. I think initially we had Orkut, so from there I would have moved on it to this thing. And I think there was a cash reward way back 2008 of 10,000 rupees. So definitely there's a trophy, but that check at that young age is also very, very interesting when you get 10,000 rupees to party. So I think that is something which, as a student age, if I remember, I'm proud of.
It's really good to hear that experience, sir.
Thank you.
So, how do you encourage innovation and creativity among your student activities?
All right. So I'm myself very, very technology pro individual. I love to learn new things, and I think right from my early years, that is maybe 25, when I started teaching, I have always myself used technology. And if you're using technology yourself, I think you'll definitely bring it to your class as well. So what basically, whenever we are using technology, the idea is to get things done faster and in a simplified manner. So there are a lot of things that we have done. Some specific mentions would be that a lot of tools and software I use in my teaching, specifically when we're talking about digital marketing kind of a subject. So I think students get a lot of hands-on experience, and it is easy also to teach because you can engage the students and they're working on real platforms. So it helps us. So I think this is one of the main area which makes me closer to technology, and I can bring this closer to students as well.
Okay, so outside of academics, what activities or interests do you pursue in your free time?
All right. So depends. A lot of time we are so much bogged down with a lot of responsibilities and work. I'm a father of two daughters. One of them is only 15 months. Another one is 7 years. So they also have a lot of requirements in terms of my time. But my hobbies include trekking. So recently I completed a Rupin Pass track, which is 16,000 square feet. It's a difficult track, so I had to train for that. And before that, again, I've done Panch Kedar trek. So I've gone into very, very high altitude treks. I enjoy cycling in my free time, and often I go for jogging as well. So these are some of my hobbies. I also do a lot of cooking whenever there is a spare time. So this is again something which makes me spend my time on the weekends in the kitchen.
Okay. Any favorite dish of yours, sir?
Dish, I would say things which our maids and wives do not make. Anything like pizza, sandwich, pasta. Okay, so normally whenever you ask your family, they'll be making some either rice or roti. So anything beyond that would come as our favorite. And I make very good cakes as well. Okay, so sometime definitely I'll treat you with that as well.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So how do you foster a sense of community among students at IBS Dehradun?
So IBS Dehradun has a very small family of students, that is around 150 students in each of the batch, and it is most of these people have come away from their family. So in itself, they are all bonded very strongly with each other because that is the family that we have. And I'm sure because we are staying away from our houses, it is already inherent. People are coming from different cultures that they understand each other, and I think it has become always very, very strong knit family here in IBS Dehradun that everyone understand each one need, and we all are always there to help each other. So this most of us are so very mature that there is no intervention needed as such that we will want to bring all of you together. There are a lot of hostels where students are staying together, so that first of all keeps them together. They are attending the classes together. There are a lot of mentorship programs, club activities where students are interacting. So each one of them understands different personalities and what kind of things a particular individual may like. And I'm sure that there are definitely some close groups within the students. But overall, when we look at both seniors and juniors, they together form a very, very strong bond with each other. And they are always there to help each one. Okay, so I think it's a very, very closely knit family that we have in IBS Dehradun. It is not only students, the faculty and students both are actually very, very closely knit to each other.
Okay, sir. So, what are some of the challenges you have faced as a leader in education, and how did you overcome that?
All right. So, education, as we understand, is one of the sectors where there are people from diverse generations or ages which are working. Okay. So, there will be people who are maybe 25-year-old as well, and we will have senior management which will be 70-year-old. So, sometimes because there is a lot of age gap, some differences in opinion or the way a younger person may work and a senior person may work may arise. So that is one of the challenges, that you have to take everyone together. And again, in education sector, in corporate, we assume a 40-year-old or 35-year-old person also is capable of taking a senior position. But in education, usually people beyond 50, 55 will be getting senior positions. So there is always a challenge in terms of keeping your thoughts with everyone, taking everyone together. So that can be one of the challenges. But I think if the agenda is to improve the system, everyone appreciates that. So that challenge definitely is not a major thing. Again, there is one important challenge, that is everyone has a different understanding about different technologies. So sometimes other person may be using a different platform, or they may have a different thought process, but we may have a different thought process of the how that same work can be done. So in that case, you can always discuss and you can come to a consensus that what will be the best way out, and how this particular, whatever task that the particular organization is asking, in this case it is a university, can be done more efficiently. And I think always the senior people are very, very supportive, and they would definitely give juniors a chance that they can go in the way they would like to do that particular activity.
Yes. So, how does IBS incorporate real world experiences into the curriculum?
So I think from the day one, when the students come to IBS, there are things which will take them closer to the real world and to the industry. So when we have people coming from diverse backgrounds, maybe someone is coming from commerce, someone from engineering, someone from arts. So we have something called as the Diksha Aram program, okay, or the induction program, where all these students are made to understand that over the next 2 years what their journey would be. Right from that point, we will encourage some of the alumni members, industry people, trying to come and tell them that how a post-graduation course like MBA may be different from a undergrad or a PG course that most of the students would have done, so that they are able to understand that how the learning will be different. Apart from that, there are a lot of industrial visits, there are a lot of corporate trainers which would come, there are already alumni or other senior industry leaders which will come and tell people that how exactly industry functions. One very interesting thing again that we inculcate in IBS is also that there are so many sources today to understand what is happening in the industry. It can be white papers which are shared by a lot of websites. It can be some specific YouTube videos where corporate people are again trying to tell how they handle a particular kind of project or an assignment. So we are always taking students closer to that. And at a higher order, we are always including some case studies which give these students some kind of a decision-making capabilities and understand that how a particular manager can take a decision in a particular context. Okay, so what may work good, what may not work that very well. So this case studies help us to set those kind of constraints and help students to get a little real life exposure.
So, as you know, MBA is a pretty rigorous program. So, can you share any insights on work-life balance for the students here?
Very, very interesting. So again, I'll go a little informal here. So I always say that there is a triangle. So a lot of faculties, specifically when we are closer to our students, we will tell that there are three corners, okay, a triangle. In triangle, you cannot reach all the three things together, and being in the center of it is also very difficult. So I'll just try to explain you that. One is, and this is a very established thing, a lot of IIM students also will always say that the day when a student is coming. So there are three things that you're doing in a B school. First is your academics, okay. The second is the amount of sleep that you're having. And the third one is networking. Networking can be more of, you can say, in a friendly manner, that how much time you spend with your social circle or otherwise your network. Okay, so it can be that you have a very close person, girlfriend, boyfriend, or anyone maybe outside your education setup also, how much, or your family, how much time you're able to spend with them. Okay,
Okay.
so you cannot do all these three things together. You cannot study also full day and get very good in academics. Okay, and sleep also and have a very good social life as well. So you'll have to somewhere balance, and maximum to maximum, most of the students will be only able to balance two things. Okay, balancing all three, that is your social life, your studies, and that you sleep also every day, even 6 hours on average, can be becoming a very, very challenging kind of a thing. So students understand that kind of a pressure from day one, and I think that is why MBAs make them ready for a corporate career.
Okay, so as you just said that networking is really important. What are your thoughts on the importance of networking for business school students?
So I think in today's time, most of the job profiles, it is not necessary that only for sales, but even for finance people or any other individual, networking becomes very, very important, because what only you are doing, that is not important, and you may have to understand a lot of time what others are doing to take some decisions, and networking helps in doing that. So you may come across a problem, and it is very difficult for you to solve that problem all alone. But if you are a person who networks very well, you can simply just pick up your phone, find that friend of yours who can give you insight or inputs in that particular kind of an area, and you can very quickly take a decision, right? So as we understand that management is all about managing things and taking better decisions, networking becomes a very, very important resource. And in today's time, I think people, even in their graduation, before that, also in even schools, parents are putting their kids in very, very good schools, because they understand that this friend circle will eventually become their network over the years, right? So we always say that I've got a school friend or a batchmate who is working at so and so position, so I'll just call him and try to take his or her input. So for B school students, definitely this networking becomes very, very important. And in that sense, IBS is a very, very great place to be in, because all the alumni are connected. We have got more than 60,000 alumni network, and we all are part of the same IBS Alumni Federation. So you can reach out to anyone, just say that I'm a part of IBS family, and I'm sure anyone across this network will be willing to give their inputs or any help which is needed. So this is a great institution from a networking point of view.
Yes, thank you. Can you talk about the partnerships or collaborations IBS has with industries or other organizations outside?
So at IBS, the partnerships happens at different level. There are a lot of partnerships which happen when it comes to straight away the first level, which is the most basic level, when we are inculcating some teaching. So this may be at the department level, or even individual faculty who will have their own network and they will invite some guests to the class. Some of these people may be alumni. So for example, if I talk about myself, it is just, I have to just go to my LinkedIn and I will have hundreds of people whom I can request to come across and talk, and they might be at a very, very senior position. So I think all the faculties are in a position to have such kind of people who can inculcate some kind of an industry exposure to the students. The second thing is when it comes to your internships, where again we have got a very, very strong partnership across 15 years, where companies are coming and constantly recruiting our students as interns. A lot of time these students are again given a pre-placement offer as well. So that is at the second place where the industry interaction and the partnership happens. And the third one is definitely the most important one, where companies are coming. So a lot of these recruiters are regular recruiters. Regular means they are coming year on year basis. They understand IBS system very, very well, and they have been very, very helpful in again sharing the feedback. And we take this feedback for the next year students and try to bridge the gap. Whatever they're expecting, we try to bring that student to that level. So this is again another level of partnerships that we have with the industry. Other than this, there are a lot of other partnerships also which IBS system encourages to be. This can be with some of the government bodies, okay, some NGOs, some other corporate governance kind of bodies. where students and even the other members of the system understand that how as a overall community and society we operate. Okay, so it is a very good place to be in where a lot of partnerships are there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
um, so what do you think about the upcoming trends do you see in shaping the future of business education?
So when it comes to trends, specifically from a student point of view, I think there are a lot of challenges or confusion because every 6 months a new thing is coming up and a lot of buzz is created. Just around 10 years back, digital marketing was creating a lot of noise that now in last 2 years, everyone is worried about ChatGPT. People are saying that it will take jobs and whether you should use it, whether you should not use it. So in a ecosystem like this where the world is changing very very fast, these kind of challenges or these kind of trends will keep on coming. As a new age learner, I would say we need to understand that how to adapt to this particular kind of an ecosystem. Even very very seasoned people who have experience of 30 years, they are also every day learning new things and they're changing themselves. So as a student, I would just say that you follow the trends, but don't follow them blindly. You see definitely that, okay, this thing new is coming up. Is it something which matches to my personal goals? Okay, if I want to go into marketing analytics, is it something to do with that? If it is, definitely go and deep understand about it. There are a lot of resources. You can talk to more experienced people today. Even on YouTube, you can go and get a lot of idea whether this is something which you should pursue and what are the thoughts, whether you should worry about it and what is the right way to learn about it. So I think trends should be taken very positively, but we should not again blindfoldly going into anything new that we hear of. Okay, this is getting a lot of buzz. Should I start doing this or learning this and invest a lot of time? I think that would not make any sense because there are so many things today that we may want to do and everything is not possible. So cherry picking that or understanding that what is useful for me as an individual is a very very important thing. And I think at a B school we give that kind of an environment where you can identify that this trend or this new thing should be beneficial for me and I should invest more time and energy in understanding that particular thing.
Okay. Sir, is there any book which you would like to recommend for?
So there's a very popular book. Whenever anyone asks about a book, I would normally say that there's a book on Japanese thinking, which is Ikagi, which overall stands for overall satisfaction. So I will suggest, I'll not go too much deep into it because of the time. I would always suggest that one should read or look into that particular book. Apart from that, there are a lot of self-development books. Okay, so we should always ensure that we are reading. If we are getting motivated by such thing, we can definitely pick up. Okay, so there is a book called as 7 Habits of Successful People. So these books definitely help us. There's another book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Again, anyone who's going into finance side loves money. They should also kind of read this kind of book, which would give them a little bit motivation that how do you invest money in the right direction? How do you think about money in the right direction? So I think these are some of the 3 books that I would definitely suggest any of the B school students to go through.
Thank you, sir. That's all for today's
Okay,
podcast.
wonderful talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.